Association. Kenalan is one of Hijau Jakartaku annual event. Besides Kenalan, it also consists of webinar, student design competition, and our grand event musical. To formally take off our event this afternoon, it's my pleasure to invite Intan Fadilah Birul Walidain as the Chief Executive of Kenalan 2020 to deliver her opening address.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Intan Fadilah, as the Chief Executive of the Kenalan event. First of all, I thank you all for joining on this event that called Kenalan or Kepoin Anak Lanskap. We are so excited and grateful because that our speaker, Shah from University Technology Mara or UITM Malaysia, are willing to share their experience and knowledge to us. Hopefully, this event can connect landscape architecture student connection and share knowledge and experience to each other. Thank you and enjoy the event.
Thank you, Kak Intan, for your warm opening. Next, I would like to invite Efrain Bremalatuten as the Chief of the Landscape Architecture Student Association of Trisakti University to deliver his opening speech.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Hello everyone, good afternoon. It is proud that the Kenalan event is already on its sixth day. For that, I am very thankful because everything has gone well so far. And thank you for the lectures, friends from other universities in Indonesia, and friends from Functioners Ormawa Faculty of Landscape Architectural and Environmental Technology, Trisakti University, who have been willing to take your time to participate in this event. Well, today is an extraordinary opportunity because we will listen to information which will certainly be a lesson for all of us here from our speaker, Siti Aisyah Jamibullah from the Mara University of Technology, Malaysia, with the topic, the preparation process and step-by-step being a landscape architect. Thank you, Siti Aisyah, for your willingness to be a speaker today. And I hope from this discussion, we can learn about how to be a good landscape architect from a global perspective. And once again, I represent of Landscape Architecture Association, Trisakti University, to thank all those who have been involved in this event. I hope today's program will run successfully. We apologize if there are deficiencies in both words and actions. Enjoy everyone. Thank you and God bless us.
Thank you for that great opening speech. And now with our today's topic, the preparation process and step-by-step being a landscape architect. Without further ado, allow us to invite our today's special speaker, Siti Aisyah Jamibullah from University Technology Mara, Malaysia. Hello, Aisyah. How are you doing these days? Before what is it okay for me to call you Aisyah?
Yeah, you can call me Aisyah.
Thank you. How are you doing these days?
I'm good. I'm sorry, the connection is like a little bit stopped. And
It wasn't.
like, can I just say hello or what? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Do you listen? Okay. Okay, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Aisyah.
Hello, Aisyah.
I am
How are you,
Aisyah.
Aisyah?
I am fine, thank you. I am Aisyah. I am from UITM and currently in my third year for Bachelor in Landscape Architecture. So yeah, today's sessions will be a very short and fun one. So I hope that everyone will enjoy it, but still gain all the knowledge that you wanted to have to. So yeah, that's all from me. So can we just, I don't know what to say. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. Well, I'm fine too. In fact, I'm so excited for today's Kenalan event. Okay, next, I will ask to you, what do you usually do during this pandemic?
For me personally, I just love to hanging around, watching some Netflix and stuff,
Me too.
and just learning new language for the time being.
Okay, and next, um, maybe how are people there holding up with this current pandemic situation?
In Malaysia,
Yes,
oh,
people there holding up with.
because we are currently open up to public, so we don't really need to stay at home and stay for the quarantine. So now people just go out and hang around, watch some movies in cinema, and with people. That's why we don't really have like being boring inside the house anymore. But in Indonesia, that you still in quarantine mode, or
Yes, yes. Here in Indonesia, it's kind of hard to say that everything is doing well because the number of COVID-19 cases goes up as days go by.
oh seriously?
In every days. So so I believe we are all very excited and thrilled for what you have for today. So Aisha, shall we get started?
Ah yes, we can
Okay,
start it
thank
now.
you.
Okay. So assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. So I'm basically gonna tell you about the ticket to the landscape architect world. So I hope everyone will be fine and fun to hear this because it's gonna be some cliche words in it. So just hold on me for a while. So this is the sessions that I prepare to like telling you more about the landscape architect scope based on like the global one. So next. Okay, so I am Aisha and currently in my third year in Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, and I'm a student of UiTM Puncak Alam. And I've been a speaker for like about 4 years already, since 2016, during my diploma years and till now. And the word that have the best to describe me is like socializing and hyperactive because I love to like doing some fun things and without just, sitting around and doing nothing. So that's all. It's just a brief things about me, and we can just jump towards the things that we're going to do next. So this is our today highlight. The first one will be the preparation. The second one will be the process, and the last one will be the step by step to go into the landscape architecture world. So next. Okay, so what should you prepare? So basically, there are only 4 elements that are like the most crucial part in the preparations of being a landscape architect. So the first one would be unique. Second one would be skills, knowledge, and strong mentality. This is just a brief. I will celebrate it after this. So next. So what is being unique? Like in this world, you have to really be something else and just not, just suit with the normal things just to be safe in the landscape architecture world. So you really need to have your own significant value. The significant value means that you really need to be something that will pop out in the landscape architecture world that is like, oh, this guy is someone, is something, or she doesn't use the normal form or normal shape or normal colors that being used like people use. So being unique is not just like what a cliche like, oh, everyone can be unique, just do something else, something different. But in being unique in landscape architecture means that you bring out all the uniqueness, all the creativity that have hidden in your heart and just spread it to the world. And it's also being explained in the word that the vibrant colors always being spotted. It means that you have to be vibrant to make people realize that you are living in here. And that's why I come up with the 4B. And the 4B will be different, be brave and bold, be yourself, and be confident. Like, based on my experience, I don't really like to join the majority people, because I think that being minority is the most strongest thing that you can do when you are in anything or anywhere else in this world. Because majority doesn't mean that you are right, or being majority doesn't mean that you can conquer all of it. So you have to always know, like, where do you belong to, whether you belong to the majority or you belong to the minority. So for me, I belong to the minority because I love to speak my mind out. If I don't like this, I was just like, oh, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I just like I don't really care what people say about me. I just said, oh, I should have my own opinion and my own thing that I have to spread out. So I don't really need to, like, just stick with someone else and just I just want to be behind you and just be a shadow or something. So for me, being brave is very, very important, and being yourself. People will be like, I think if I be myself, people wouldn't like me. That is wrong, because if you want to be someone, you have to be the leader. You don't want to be like someone just follow someone and then just and then there's nothing else you can do. So that's why you have to be yourself and being confident. By being confident, like, for my whole life, it takes me around 15 years to, like, really gain the confidence, because I don't really have those confidence in myself, because my self-esteem is very, very low. But I took about 15 years to actually, like, gather everything and just, oh, I think I can do it. And I don't give a people, like, what can they say, like, I'm me, then why? That's why you just have to be yourself and be confident. And the next one would be, okay, this is for the skills that are needed in the landscape architecture world. And this is just like a general one, but you really need to have all of this if you really want to be a good one, a good landscape architect. So for the soft skills on the orange side, it is a language. You know that language skills is very important, especially when you wanted to, like, having communications with someone that not really familiar um, with your language. So that's why English is very, very, very important. If you have an extra language learning, such as Mandarin or like French, or everything that are considered by third language, fourth language, fifth language, you can learn as many as you want, because the more you learn other language, the more you open your thinking, and the more you open your experience and opportunity to people. So you really have to learn another language, or just strengthen your English fluency for the future. And then the next one would be the constructions. Oh, sorry. Would be the constructions. Okay, as I think all of us have learned the basic skills of the constructions, is it? Because I think that construction is in the syllabus of our course. So construction is very important, especially for the guys, if you really wanted to work for a construction company in the future after you have graduated. So you really need to strengthen your constructions area, even though in the detail drawing, instead of the materials that been used, the joint and everything that are relations with the constructions, you really have to strengthen it out if you really wanted to go and find a construction company. And the next one would be the project management. So for the project management, I knew, like, most of us, they are not only like gonna work as a designer. Maybe like some of us really like, oh, I really love to, like, work as a project manager in the construction site, maybe. So you really should, like, learn about the project management, because there are a lot. And if you just go into the work scope and you just wanted to learn there, you will always be the lowest one, because you really need to prepare before you go inside the work scope. So, and the next one will be designing. If, like, designing, this is something that people can really have it in just for 1 to 2 years. It's all about patience, because sometimes you work about 20 years, but you still doesn't have those patience in designing. So you will, at the end of it, you will choose to be something else. So in the first place, in the first year or like the first semester, you really have to talk to yourself like, oh, I really need to have the patience in designing so that I can be a designer later. So you really have to build up all the patience so that you can have those patience and those integrity in what do you want to do. So the next one will be software. I think our software is not that different among us, because I think the most common thing will AutoCAD, SketchUp, Lumion, and then Revit, Photoshop, and something else, AI and Bridge. So I think that software, the most important about software is that sometimes different company use different types of softwares. So that one is like a slightly problems, but you have to be prepared for that. How do you prepare for that? Especially for the mid-semester break. If you have a semester break, you really need to like, okay, I think I need to try and error with this new software. So you have to know a lot of software so that you can be prepared for the workspace that you have been going to. So you really need to, if you have time, you can just watch some YouTube videos about the software, and you just try and error and install the apps so that it'll be nicer and easier for you. And then for the last one, it'll be budgeting. So I think people will be like, oh, why should we do the budget thing? It's not even in our scope of work. Maybe it's just leave it with the QS, or like with the people that are handling on the budgeting, the accountancy or whatever. But budgeting is very important, because why did I say it? Because if you are in the work world, you really need to compliance with the client budget. So you need to know, oh, how many budget is this, and did my design are suitable for this for the design or not. You have to really know that your design is compliant with the budget of the clients. You really need to do that, because sometimes our client have a very big idea, but they are budgeting the money that are willing to spend is just a small bit. So you have to really know how to substitute all of these materials that they wanted to do with something that are a lot more efficient and cheaper that are suitable for their budgeting. So for the soft skills, we will come to the communication. For communication, I think everyone have their own way of how to do their communications. Sometimes if you are too, being a pushovers, it's not something that our people like, but sometimes you have to know whether you want to be a leader, or like I said before, you want to be a leader or you want to be a followers. So with the communications, you have to know if you want to be a leader, you have to have a great communications, because a very great communication can lead a great things. So for that, we will go to the time management. Time management, I think usually student like us, there will be always be like someone from our class be like, I don't want to go to class today. The lecturer is so bored. So I was like, oh no, it's okay. Don't come to the class. And then they just skip the class, but they don't have that knowledge from the class. So the time management is supposedly to be like everything in our course. We will be like one moment, especially in the last semester, there will be a very lot of works. They were like, they're so burdened, and they were like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I have like submissions for the whole week. I have a submission. So how can I manage all of that? So you really need to have a very great time management. But as I say, sometimes people that tend to sleep, they have finished their work easily and faster. But the people that aren't sleeping at all, their job is not even done. So I think that experience gave me like, oh, I think like it doesn't matter whether you sleep or not. Everything is about the quality of your work. Sometimes people sleep well, sleep early, but their work is just like, meh. But sometimes you don't sleep at all for like 1 week, but your quality of work will be like, oh, so pretty. So I think it depends on you whether you are willing to spend those times of sleeping to be better, or just no need. I just want to sleep. Sleep is better. I really need sleep. I don't have to do this. Or it depends on yourself. And the thing is like problem solving. Yeah, so problem solving is actually the very crucial things. If you don't really have those mind that can solve problems easily and faster, you will tend to be like the most slower landscape architect in the school. So because sorry, because problem solving, we as a landscape architecture, we have to know that our design can it be adapt till the most like 5 years, 10 years in front, or just I think maybe my design is just about 2 years, and then we just have to do the maintenance. That is wrong because we really need to find all those details, the smallest details about our design. We ask ourselves, if I put this one, can it last longer? Or if I put this one, can it last like, the material really cost about the climate changes, about the soil irrigations and everything. You really need to focus on the details and the details and details. It is very, very, very important for me. And then for creativity, I think creativity is something that you really need to force sometimes, because if you don't force to have those creativity in your mind, you wouldn't ever designing something, especially when it comes to the design phase of our final projects. There will be like those moments where we like, I don't have those ideas and design, so maybe I can just open the Pinterest and open up all the design and just copy paste everything. That is, for me, it's wrong. It's not wrong fully, but then you really need to change all those design based on your country, and based on your environment, because you can't really use something, the design of from Europe, you put it on our Asian times, you cannot. It will be lead to something like more problems than that. So you really need to like have those creativity, how to change all those ideas from the Europe country, and then you can just implement it to our country. It is how the creativity works. And then for the next one is this adaptability. For adaptability, it's actually how do you adapt in the working situations, in the working environment, because sometimes there were like some people like I don't want to work here anymore. They are not suitable for my environment. They are not suitable for my characteristics. So please, you have to stop doing that, because you have to always have those guts to be adapt to a new environment. Because to being adapt to a new environment, it means that you are easier to work with, and you don't really have to feel alienated whenever you move towards a new phase. So the last one would be motivations. Motivations is very, 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 very important, because I know like most of us feel quitting for almost 1,000 times. Almost, especially when it comes to the final semester, we'll be like, I just want to quit the landscape architecture. Why did I even go into this course in the first place? They'll be like saying that all the time. Myself, I've just 1,000 times during my diploma years, I was like, I just want to quit in my second semester. And now I'm just on my third degree years, and was like, I said I want to quit, but I don't quit yet, because there are still some motivations in you that keep you to really maintain in this era. And that is why sometimes you have to know that this course is suitable for you, or this course is made for you, or what. So you have to really know it by asking yourself a few times. Next. Okay, for the mental state unstable, this is what I said about having those stress and depressions from all the lectures and all the, the critic session. Can you just imagine you spend about 1 week to do the work, and then the critic session is only 30 seconds. And that is not it. They just fail all of your critic sessions on the board, and then the lecturer will say, this one is not suitable. But you think of the idea for 1 week. That time, we'll always have those mental state unstable all the time. I believe that everyone have experienced everything, like all this, crying, on the depth of the knee and then just sleeping, you know. But I think that everything, if you really know what you wanted to do, then you can just overcome all the mental state instability, because you know there's nothing that works in easiest path, because there are no easy path when it comes towards anything that happen in this world, because you have to really work your head off and really, like, do it the best so that you can have the best things in the future. And I think that you really need to make some hard things on yourself, so that push yourself more, and just don't just limit it at just one line and say, oh, this is my limit. Don't ever say that, oh, this is my limit. No, we as a human, we can reach something that are more than that. Because of what? Because you have to aim higher. If you wanted to do, let's just see, if you wanted to, like, spending your time overseas, you have to always remember that you wanted to spending time in the entire space. You have to go beyond of the what limitations of your mind is, because you can do beyond of that. The next one. So how about the process? So this is what I came with only the 3 stage of the process. This is easy to understand and it's easy to know. Next. Okay. The first stage will be the aim stage. This is where you are finally graduating from your degree or diploma or whatever that you take for the certificate. You really need to know, like, oh, which company did I want to spend off, or like, can I just spend my time learning, go into the master educations or just PhD or whatever that you want to do. You first have to know what is your aim and goals. If you already know your aim and goals, you will go towards the second stage, that is the analyze. You analyze yourself, ask yourself, put in the mirror and say, what is my weaknesses? What is my strength? We can just use the SWOT, SWOT, our strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat with ourselves, with our characteristics. But sometimes people always say that my weaknesses will always be with me forever. You can't really change it. But you can actually use the weaknesses as an opportunity. As an example, me, myself, I am a very, very last minute girl. I love to do everything last minute. Like, this is just, it's in my blood, so I can just change it. But let me tell you something, being the one that are last minute, sometimes the last minute works will always be A plus 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 rather than your first minute works. Trust me, sometimes they will work that way. But it is just me. But sometimes you really need to know, like, if you are capable to do the last minute work or not, because you have to know your capabilities. Because sometimes there are some people that are capable to do so, but some people are not capable to do so. It's just the same when you go for a class and then your friends got an A plus, but you just got a C plus. Everyone was like, oh, why? We are in the same class. But you have to know, how did they work with it? Did after the class, did they learn? Or did they just sleep all the time after the class and just blah, blah, blah. I don't really need this. So you have to really analyze yourself. And after you're analyzing, you will know how to turn your weakness towards your strength and how to, like, strengthen your stronger characteristics. So you will have to adjust for the stage 3. How do you want to adjust? You have to know, oh, did I have to do this to become more better? Did I have to polish my skills in terms of how the environment, how about the planting arrangement, or like everything that we are weak with, we can just polish it up. Because I believe that everyone in this world is not stupid. They only have to push themselves a little bit harder, and then they can just do it. Poof. Just like how guys, they don't really like focus on the in the class, but then they often like get the best grade of all. So you have to really have those adjustment. Next. So this is what we are going to experience every single day. Let me see. But what I'm going to highlight is that there's no matter what types of like, thinking or thought that people have towards you, you have to know like what do you want to do. Do you want to be like someone that are just creating something just for your own sake or just for aesthetics without having any multifunctional uh, appliance? So you really have to know whether you are an aesthetic person or you're just like someone that really willingly to sacrifice your hard time to help people to really love the environment and really to like love the greenery inside them. So you really need to know every single thing that you have to you are inside your heart. So the next one. So this is will be the last sessions. That is the step by step for being a landscape architect. Overall, this one is just in general things, but I will just put in some experience and the most important in all of this for step by step being a landscape architect. Next. Okay. As you can see, some people go into a degree or go into a educational system just for like certificate. Just there's like, oh, my mom asked me to go into this just for the certifications, and then after that I will just do nothing, just laying around without doing nothing. But that is how some people that are not willing to sacrifice their time to be success, because a degree is not just a certificate, a whole one piece of certificate. It's not just like that. There are like, you have to, all those 4 years of studying, you must really polish your attitude, your skills, your principles and knowledge. You must have those, or you just don't ever graduate it. Because these 4 things is very, very, very important, because our 4 years, we cannot just do something stupid just because, I just want to finish. No, you really have to get those implementing of the attitude. Attitude is very, 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 very important. You can go to any work or in any company. If you don't really have those attitude, people will just like, no, we're not going to have a wonderful working environment with these people in our company, because she or he doesn't even have those attitude. The most important thing for attitude is time. Don't ever come late to anything, or don't ever like have those abandoned feelings or redundant feelings in yourself by saying like, how should I care? What should I care? I'm the one that paying for the degree, so why should I care about what you think, about what the lecturers think about you? You really need to gain all this attitude in yourself, because a good attitude will bring you to a good future. Because people that have an attitude but don't really score in their CGPA, or doesn't have those highest ranking CGPA 4.0 like something, they often become a successful person because what? Attitude. Because attitude is everything. And the next one would be skills. Skills is like, if you don't really polish your skills before you going into the landscape architect world, there's really something wrong with you. Because skills, if you doesn't really have those skills, you will then stay on the landscape architect world for a long time. Because skills is where people judge you like, okay, this girl have something, but they are lack of skills. It doesn't matter which skills are you lack of. Maybe you can't really communicate with the clients, and or like you can't really design something new. You just go with your own old design stuff and just doesn't know how to do it. That is why you really need to always polish your skills, even though before you go into the landscape architect world, or after, you really have to really polish your skills every single day and every single years, because it is very important to be more upgraded yourself through by through and through by through. And the next one will be principle. I think like most of them, like people, they only have like a principle that they learn from someone else. But for me, principles is just like how we have our own integrity and how we really adjust with our suitability and our thinking, whether it is suitable for us or not. As an example, if you go to the company and then you work for it for 5 years, and then your principal is like, I don't really like to take something from people. It's a bargain. It means like uh, people give you money for like, oh, I give you money. Can you please just pass out all the plan and just, just all the friends things with money and things. But if you have those principle and integrity that you say that, oh, I don't want to be a person that only gain money from people and extra money just because, I just want to be higher than this. You have to really know that the things that you gain in easy way will never ever stay for a longer time. Easy thing, go for easy. So you really have to have a good principle in your life to really to really stay in this landscape architecture world. So the last one will be the knowledge. Knowledge is not basically just reading the books or like all those landscape architecture, how to be this one, the forms and shapes, all the principles of design. This is not just that plain knowledge that we know. We have to really expose ourselves with a new knowledge that are about the experience, do things that are really suit for you. Sometimes, okay, let's just tell it openly. Sometimes people in this whole scope, they doesn't really have their own geez. I mean, like, okay, this guy is good in plan arrangement, and this girl is good in designing, while this girl is good in remembering all the plans. So what I mean is, everyone have their own different and have your own patience. Doesn't mean that your knowledge is higher than them just because they don't even know it. Sometimes we are all the same. Our knowledge is just all in the same phase. As long as you know how to share your knowledge, because the more you give your knowledge, the more you get from people. So you really need to know that, because you can't really like being stingy about your knowledge. I don't want to tell you about this, about where it, because of what? Because I think that you don't deserve it. Don't say that, because knowledge is meant to be shared. You have to really share the knowledge to get more than that. Because the more knowledge that you gain, the more that you think that, oh, I think that there are more knowledge that I have to gain. You have to think of that. The next one. This is about the networking. Networking, it's not about who you knows, but it's who knows you. It means that no matter where that you went to, you have to really connected all of this networking so that it can benefit you in the future. It doesn't mean that I think I want to be friends with him because maybe in the future they will give benefits for me. You have to give and take. You give people, and then they give it for you, and then they just go with the flow. You give and take, give and take, give and take. That's how people rules, and that's how world rules. So you really knows like how to connect with people, no matter what country you are in globally. You really need to join all those, the programs that are being held by the organizations, all those like this, like all those kenalan things, and then it is very important because you can use this platform as to like being engage with people that are outside of your country, because this is the way that you can know, oh, how did they thought about this, how did they think about this, how did they implement this in their country. So you have to know, oh, I can know this, I don't know this, I know this. So after that, you will have like one line of connections where like in the future you can use that to strengthen out your company. Maybe in the future you will like to make one company under your name, and you like finding someone that like, oh, I think I want to do it globally. So if you have friends from other country, it can be useful for you, and they can also be used for your benefits. So it is important to have a very strong network in socializing. The next one. Okay. I think this one is differ about being intern. Is like I've been in internships before, and to be honest, there are really upgraded my skills and experience. Because before I went into the intern, my knowledge would be like 20% or 30%. But then when I went into the internships, they were upgraded into 50 to 60%. So for me, internship is very, very important. That is why you have to really choose uh, a great place to go for an internship, because you can't just go like, oh, I just want to finish the internship everywhere, just nothing, just spend some time alone, and then for the internship, I just don't care for it, for what the experience that can I gain. You really need to go for the internship to gain the knowledge that are extra, because internship means that you are going for the work process. You go into the real environment of the landscape architecture. So that is why you really have to concern about what knowledge that you gain from the internship. Because the more that you gain from the internship, the more you can implement it when you already graduated. So this is just like a preparations for us to really know and understand how the landscape architecture world works. So you really need to have a good place for internship. Next. So I think everyone knows this, because this organization is very, very, very important in the Asia Pacific organizations. So this one is very, very important because they connects all of the Asian Pacific country in the world for the landscape architects. Whether you are students, you are like the experienced people, you're like working yourself, private or government or everyone, this is a very good platform because they actually have a lot of programs, a lot of globally networking connections, programs, platforms that can give you a lot of things to learn. And they will also give you a lot of knowledge by having those, conference, seminar to learn about how you plant trees, how you really, the new species of plants, the new species of grass or whatever it is. It is very, very useful because this is like a global way, and how like, oh, this one is on trending on our landscape architect, so we can use these materials. This materials is new. Oh, this materials has been banned. You have to know all of that to like ensuring that you have a strong platform, a strong foundations in the landscape architect world. So you really need to really look up into the IFLA, International Federations of Landscape Architects. I think Indonesian have their own. That is like Indonesian Society Landscape Architecture, is it? The ISLA? Because in Malaysia, we have the ILAM, the Institute Landscape Architecture Malaysia. And I think all of that connected towards the IFLA for any programs or any platforms that they wanted to have. The next one? No, I think this is the last one. So you got any questions? And you can ask me now. Thank you. Sorry if you are boring through all the sessions. I'm just, having my time here and sharing my knowledge. Thank you.
No, we're not boring. Okay, wow, that's an impressive presentation by Aisha. Everything is look very exciting, and I was fascinated with step by step being landscape architect. The first one is organization, internship, degree, and network. Actually, I agree with that. May I know how you improve your skill as a landscape architect student?
I'm sorry?
May I know how you improve your skill as a landscape architect student?
Improve or?
Like,
Sorry, it's stuck, so I can't really. Can you please write it to the chat because I can't really hear you because it's just like, and I can't really.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, we got to the next. Right. From your presentation, I believe everyone has some questions to ask. So if you have any questions, you could turn on your microphone and just ask, or maybe you can ask it through the chat column.
Okay, thank you.
With any participant. Any question from the participant?
I have a question. Hello, Aisha.
Yeah, hello.
Thank you for your presentation. That's really good.
Okay.
My name is Yafa. I'm from Trisakti University, and I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How can we become a good architect landscape in the mid of pandemic? Because we have to work from home and everything is online right now. What do
Mm.
you think? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Like for me personally, even though like we are being cut off everything, especially on the construction area, in the construction scopes, and the landscape architecture can really work because due to the epidemic, and there are a lot of like like things that you have to follow, all those rules, the new rules that are being used for the epidemic. I think this is the time where all of us should really polish our skills because we are in front, we have laptops, we have internet, we have everything that can be connected to the world of the social medias, because nowadays people use the platforms of social medias to like learning something, to gain all those knowledge, even though everything is just like you can't just face to face with people, but you can gain knowledge by just watching the YouTube and stuff. So I think that this is where like for the landscape architect or like the students of landscape architecture, you really have to like use this time to polish your skills. Maybe you can just use this time to polish your sketches skills, because there's not people there are like know how to sketch in a pretty ways. So you really have to use this time properly and fully to like polish your skills, which I think is very important things.
Thank you, Aisha.
And did it answer your questions?
Okay. Um, in the chat column, have a question from Rafli Rizky Ramadan. Hello, Aisha. Thank you very much for your awesome presentation. My name is Rafli Rizky Ramadan. I'm currently majoring in industrial engineering at Telkom University. I would like to know your opinion regarding to the COVID-19 pandemic with public space. Will there be any modification with the design in the future in order to meet the requirement for preventing of the COVID-19 spread? Thank you.
Okay. I think personally there will be. It's not just a lot of designs in modifications. Just a little bit, just to ensure the 1 meter theory and 1 meter law. So you have to follow that. But regarding like the biggest design modifications, I think there will be nothing because, as you know, public spaces are for the public people, for the public. So if we change the designs just to compliance with the now pandemic, it's not just right, because designs doesn't matter whether it's pandemic or like it's something else, it's World War II or whatever it is. It's just a design that you implement for the public. So it doesn't really, it is on the mentality of the public, whether they wanted to go or they just stay at home. That is just the thing. So I think design will, it doesn't have like a very big modification. It's just a slight one will be, I think.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. The next question is from Nadira. Hello, my name is Nadira. I'm from Trisakti University. I want to ask how a unique landscape architect can compete with other landscape architects who have better abilities. Thank you.
Okay, this one. This is how the terms of unique for the things that I've mentioned before, they are significant for every one of us. So unique and better abilities doesn't really parallel together, as you can see from my personal opinion, because better abilities means that you have a better skills, software skills, your skills and the skills. But in terms of the unique and landscape architects, it means that how you show your design to the world. It means like that. It means that how do you shape this? How do you use your idea, your creativity to make people attracted to all of your designs? It is how different is it, because better because sometimes you have a better abilities, but you don't have those unique characteristics. So you can go, you can't really like, be different, because having a unique landscape architect is having a unique creativity and a unique perspective. Sorry. Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Aisha, for the answers. Any more questions from the participant? Or maybe I wanna ask about. Oh, okay, okay.
Hi, Aisha. I want to ask something.
Yeah.
Wait. I want to ask about how to overcome insecurity and build self-esteem. I will always convince myself about my goals and how to achieve it, but I was often defeated by my own insecurity by looking others people's results. And how do you overcome your insecurity? Thank you.
Thank you. I really understand you 100% because these questions is actually the things that I always ask myself. How do I have to overcome my insecurities? Because I don't really have those, high self-esteem. But for me personally, I always be like always like a crazy people look in the mirror and was like, oh girl, you're so pretty, you're good at this. You really don't have to like, consider what people say about you, because in this life they are only about how you're capable to lead yourself, lead your pathway, whether it's goal or like a stone. You have to really choose it, because insecurities is like something like, this month you are insecure with yourself, but next month you wouldn't insecure with yourself. It is everything that are playing with our mental problems, like. But then for me, like insecurity, there's nothing wrong with insecurity. I mean, like it's a good thing, because people that are insecure can always prepare for the future more than the people that are not insecure, you know? So for me, being insecure, you just have to like tell yourself, you don't really have to be scared what people might say to you, whether like, you have to be always like, tell yourself that you are always worth. So you have to know that.
Okay. Thank you for
Okay.
this answer.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Aisha. Okay, any more questions from the participant? Maybe you just could turn on your microphone and ask, or maybe you can ask it through in the chat column.
You can just ask me anything if you want. Doesn't matter if it leads towards these slides or not. It's just about the landscape architecture. I can just answer what
Yes.
I have.
Okay. One question from Tegar Anugrah Antasari. Hello Aisyah, your presentation of your material is very good for all of us. My name is Tegar Anugrah Antasari from Trisakti University, batch 2020. Before that, let me ask you, how do you maximize your learning with the COVID pandemic that is ongoing? Maybe you can provide a way or solution or to maximize learning during in this pandemic. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I think for maximize the learning, the COVID pandemic will be like you have to really make yourself an active person. So for me, basically, I always like drink 2 cups of coffee in the morning because I really love coffee. So I always woke up about 5:30 p.m. a.m. in the morning and get 2 cups of coffees, and then just have some morning routine, and then I will just continue to went into my desktop and then just search for something that are what can I learn from the page that are like the arcdaily.com, all those websites that can help me to like maximize my learning process, because sometimes I don't know how to search for like the landscape learning platform that I can learn with. So I have to really, sometimes you have to ask people around and just look at Instagram to know like, oh, they have this kind of platform for my learning process. So for me, like, you have to be active to get to maximize your learning process. So you really have to be active. Don't just sit around and watch Netflix in the morning or like in the night. Just jump in your bed or just cycling, have a gravity running on your bed. Just do everything that can make you maximize your thought and behavior. So that's all.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Aisyah. The next question is from Marsha. Is architect landscape well known in your country? Thank you.
To be honest, it depends, because there are some landscape architects that are well known, but some are just not really. But it just depends on how they really conquer the landscape architecture world in our country, because there are some company, there are large company that have a lot of good landscape architect that provide a good design for like, but especially for the private sector, because landscape architects in Malaysia is not that many, but we don't really like have those good platforms to really produce a good one, because more good design need more money, and we don't really we don't really want it to spend the money correctly, so that's why. But it is well known for some landscape architects only.
Okay, thank you for the answers. The next question is from Balkis TP. Thank you, Aisyah, for sharing with us. Do you have any habits that are useful as a landscape architecture student? Maybe we can try some of your habits. Thank you.
Oh my god. I have a lot of habits, but most of them I think like they will ruin your life. So I don't know whether I want to share it or not. Because of my habit is like, first of all, I drink coffee a lot to stay alive. I drink coffee a lot, but don't use that habit because it's not good. But sometimes if you're really sleepy but you have a lot of works to do, you really need to drink coffee, at least 2 pack of coffee, so that it will just enhance your energy and boost it. So you really need it. But for like habits, for me, like, I am sometimes a perfectionist, like so perfectionist. So I really don't like people to like declining all those details. So I personally have those habits where I will check my board for like 4 to 5 times. They were like, oh, I think this one can be details as more as it can be. And I don't like empty spaces. If you can see, like a good landscape architects, they doesn't leave any like, blank space, white space. No matter how big it is, if this space here is very big in my country, because my lecturers often said that this hole is very big. You can input a lot of things in this small hole. So that is why really need, for my habit, you have to check your board for 4 to 5 times. So it means that, and don't leave any blank holes. Even though it is small, you don't have to leave it. You have to put something in it. There are a lot of things that are belong to that small hole. So for me, details, it is what I think that one is a bad habit for me, because it took times for me, because one board like consider about 2 to 3 days in a very complete one. So I think it's a good one if you want to put it to be a good architect in the future, I think. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aisyah, for the answers. Any question here from the participant? Okay. Next question from Anissa Zahra. Hello, Aisyah. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm Anissa from Trisakti University, and I want to ask, How do you gather your ideas for your design? Because sometimes I have problem with gathering my ideas. Thank you.
Oh, I have this one day where I am in front of my laptop to do my board, but at the end of it, I spend 24 hours doing nothing, just facing my laptop all the time. So it is wrong because I think that ideas and design, I have a lot of problems regarding all this, having my own design and ideas, because sometimes I am a type of person, like I always find something to be my ideas. It means that if I don't have ideas, I will just go out and just walking around and look at every single things. Maybe it's like a lighting pole, like a road, cars and things. And that way, I'll be like, oh, if I do it like this, can it work? My mind will be floating all around and just thinking about what type of ideas that can I put in my board. That is why if you want to gather your ideas for your design, I think you really have to go out often. And for Pinterest, I think Pinterest is a very good platform if you wanted to, like having some ideas. But I don't really use Pinterest sometimes because it makes me like, if you look into Pinterest, you'll be like, oh, I think this design is better than my design. So I should just use this design instead of my design. That is so wrong because sometimes it will increase your insecurities if you watch the Pinterest. So I don't really like to watch Pinterest. I just like, hanging around outside and just looking at everything that I can do, just playing with my minds and ideas and all. So I think that one is good. Just walking around.
Okay, thank you for the answers, Aisyah. And okay, so since I have a very little time left, I will read one more question maybe from the participant. Oh yeah, if there's no one, maybe I want to ask about if no one to ask, I want to ask, have you ever lost your bedtime with so many activities? Maybe. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I ask you again?
Um,
I'm so sorry.
Have you ever lost your bedtime with so many activities?
I have. I have like that one time, I haven't slept at all about 1 week. I don't sleep at all for 1 week because I was so hyperactive. And I was like, no, I can't sleep. I don't want to wasting my time just sleeping on my bed. So I will just, do a lot of things, a bunch of things. I draw, I sketch, I go out, hang out with my friends. I watch the cinema, I watch the movies in the cinema. I eat a lot and I do a lot of things I make 12 things in just one time. So I do everything. I'm being a carpenter. I wash the cars. Every single thing that I can do in those 1 week, I didn't even sleep at all. So I think it's good for me. But not sleeping means that you have to have a really great amount of caffeine. So one day I actually drink about 8 cups of coffee. I'm so crazy about coffee. So don't follow me. I'm so bad.
Really 1 week? Okay, so now it's 10 minutes until the end of Kenalan. On behalf of Trisakti University Landscape Architecture Student Association, I would like to say thank you and a huge appreciation to Siti Aisyah Jamilullah for sharing with us their precious experience and knowledge. Also, we are all very grateful for the attendance of the University Technology Mara Malaysia Landscape Architecture students, UITM Seri Iskandar Perak, Institut Pertanian Bogor, Universitas Trisakti, Universitas Mercubuana, UITM Puncak Alam Selangor Malaysia, Universitas Udayana, Kontraktor Bogor, PDAM, UITM Puncak Alam, Poltekkes, SMA Negeri 8 Kota Tangerang, Nur Seri Batam, Universitas Kristen Indonesia, Universitas Pancasila, Universitas Hasanuddin, Universitas Pembangunan Jaya, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Nur Seri Sukabumi, dan juga LISIP, to attend the 6th day of Kenalan. As a token of our appreciation for Aisyah's valuable contribution on today's Kenalan topic, the preparation process and step-by-step being a landscape architect, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we're entering the photo session, I have some information to share with you. Besides Kenalan, we also organize student design competition. For more information about this competition, you can visit our Instagram on @hmjal_trisakti or @hijaujakartaku. And now we are entering today's last session. Please turn on your cameras and smile because we're entering the photo session.
All right. Turn on your camera and don't forget to smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For the last time of today's Kenalan, we would like to say thank you, and we are all very grateful for your will to attend today's Kenalan. I hope to see you guys soon, and I wish you all to always stay healthy and happy. Bye bye. Thank you to Siti Aisyah Jamibullah. Thank you for
Welcome.
today's Kenalan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isa.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for listening. Thank you for
Have a nice
listening.
day.
I'm sorry if they are so boring or not fun at all.
No.
Your presentation is
Very impressive.
It's really
Thank
good.
you.
No, that very.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aisyah.
Thank you.